The following presentation is a teaching by Avraham Emuna, Top 7 End Times Events in Jewish Understanding. Jewish eschatology, the study of the end of times, is complex, layered with mystical, philosophical, and spiritual insights that range across the Torah, Talmud, and various mystical texts. Jewish thought on the end times largely focuses on the rectification of the world and the ultimate closeness of humanity to the divine presence and the full revelation of the oneness of God. I'll briefly explore the top 7 key events that Jewish tradition sees as part of the journey toward the ultimate redemption, with insights from both the traditional Orthodox perspective as well as my own Kabbalistic understandings. My list is not in chronological order of importance. Event 1, the ingathering of the exiles. Traditional view. One of the central aspects of the end times in Jewish thought is the ingathering of the Jewish people from the four corners of the earth, returning to Israel. This process is a fulfillment of various prophetic promises, such as those in Deuteronomy, Isaiah, and Ezekiel, where God promises to gather the scattered nation. My Kabbalistic view. From my view, the return of the exiles is not just physical but also a spiritual gathering, where the fragmented sparks of holiness scattered across the world are brought back together. This ingathering represents the unification of the divine presence, the Shekinah, which has been exiled along with the people of Israel. By gathering these holy sparks of the divine soul spread throughout the world and all humanity, the Jewish people contribute to the world's rectification and hasten redemption for all people. Event 2, the final world war called Gog and Magog, traditional view. The prophets Ezekiel and Zechariah describe a climactic battle, an apocalyptic type war involving many nations symbolically called Gog and Magog. This battle is traditionally seen as a period of upheaval and war preceding the Messianic era, where God intervenes to protect Israel and reveal his sovereignty. My Kabbalistic view. In mystical terms, the war of Gog and Magog is understood as the final struggle between good and evil within the collective soul of humanity. The Kabbalists see this battle as a spiritual one, but with physical world consequences, representing the internal conflict within humanity, battling the ego as it prepares to fully embrace God's oneness. The victory over Gog and Magog symbolizes the triumph of the divine oneness within creation over the great serpent, often called Leviathan, which is the beast being depicted to represent mankind's selfish ego. Event 3, the coming of Messiah. Traditional view. The coming of the Messiah, the King of Israel, is a major end-time event, characterized by a righteous descendant of King David who will restore the sovereignty of Israel, bring peace, and establish justice among the nations. Orthodox rabbis generally describe the Messiah as a leader who will lead the Jewish people and all nations to serve God with unity in accordance with the principles codified in the Torah. My Kabbalistic view. The spirit of Messiah embodies a deeply mystical role. The Messiah is seen as a spirit of enlightenment manifested in humanity corporately, which is then also embodied in a singular person who helps bring about the final redemption for Israel. Messiah signifies a complete union between the physical and spiritual worlds, which takes place upon all humanity, not just the singular person embodying the title of Messiah, that is the King of Israel. The coming of the Spirit of Messiah will be a moment of heightened divine revelation for all humanity, where even the material world will be illuminated with the knowledge of God. The role of the Messiah is to help reveal the divine light hidden within creation, lifting humanity to a heightened state of consciousness. The result of this illumination of humanity is the crowning of Hashem as King over all, and the name of God will be one over all the earth. Event 4, the rebuilding of the Third Temple. Traditional view. Orthodox Judaism holds that the Third Temple in Jerusalem will be rebuilt as a part of the Messianic era. This temple is expected to be a center for worship and offerings, restoring the ancient practices that existed during the First and Second Temples. My Kabbalistic view, mystically, the third temple represents a perfected version of the spiritual temple that exists in the higher worlds. The building of this temple symbolizes the completing phases of Tikkun Olam, where all realms of existence will be unified with the divine. The third temple will be constructed from spiritual light, representing the descent of holiness into the physical world. What is built above in the upper worlds will be manifest below in the lower world, so I expect to see a physical temple on earth, but this is only a physical illumination of what was completed in the higher worlds above. Event 5, the resurrection of the dead. Traditional view. Resurrection is a key belief in Jewish eschatology where the righteous dead will be brought back to life. This resurrection will take place in the Messianic era, allowing all generations to witness and partake in the ultimate redemption in the Messianic age, or some view the resurrection happening at the end of the Messianic age. My Kabbalistic view. The Kabbalistic understanding of resurrection is far more profound and spiritually focused, relating to the soul's cosmic journey and purification. The resurrection is seen as a time when souls that have been refined through multiple incarnations or lifetimes are finally able to reach their true and final purpose. It reflects the ultimate rectification of the soul and the body, where the final illuminated body becomes a perfect vessel for the soul's divine light. A resurrected physical body is also a spiritual body that is translucent, such that the divine light permanently shines through without a fleshly veil. Event 6. Judgment of the Nations. Traditional view. The prophets describe a final judgment where the nations of the world will be judged for their actions, particularly their treatment of the Jewish people. This event is associated with the Day of the Lord, or Yom Hadin, a time of divine justice and accountability. Some put this event as happening during the final apocalyptic war of Gog and Magog, where others put it as a continuing judgment that takes place throughout the Messianic age. My Kabbalistic view. In Kabbalistic thought, the judgment of the nations is seen as a cosmic realignment, where the collective consciousness of the world is purified. Nations represent different aspects of human tendencies, and this judgment is the ultimate harmonization of these aspects, leading to a state of global spiritual elevation. The ego of all the nations is judged, condemned, and purged, freeing the nations from bondage to the ego and selfish desires. Event 7. Universal knowledge of God. Traditional view. One of the Messianic era's hallmarks is that the knowledge of God will cover the earth as the waters cover the sea. Isaiah 11:9. This means that all people, regardless of background, will recognize and serve the one God of Israel. My Kabbalistic view. The spread of divine knowledge represents a shift in human consciousness. In the Messianic age, hidden divine wisdom, which has been safeguarded and studied by the few, will become accessible to all, awakening people to their divine purpose. Kabbalah sees this as the ultimate revelation of divine unity, where all aspects of reality are recognized as expressions of God. The world as a whole will wake up to the knowledge of God's oneness and His presence in all things, seeing that all existence manifests God's unity and sovereignty. A final thought on the Jewish concept of ages. As a Kabbalist, I present a nuanced view of history and the ages that ultimately frame the end times. Here are my following key stages, or ages, that we should be most aware of. The current age. This is the era of restriction of God's presence. In this age, free will can be fully realized because both good and bad, perfection and imperfection, unity and separation are clearly present. It's an age that evolves through the government of divine reward and chastisement, similar to a youth needing rewards and discipline in order to mature. This is an age driven by egoistic desires, and those desires can be expressed by our free will as either good or bad, and then rewarded accordingly. This is the age where mankind can overcome evil and earn divine merit. It's the age needed for personal growth and overcoming obstacles to grow spiritually. The Millennial Age. This is the era immediately following the coming of the Messiah, a time marked by peace, justice, and divine closeness. While this age still involves the physical world, It is a time when divine truth is fully revealed and the knowledge of God permeates society. The ego of mankind is subdued from selfish desires to more altruistic desire. During this age, humanity is expected to reach a near-perfect state, preparing for the world to come. The resurrection as the eternal state, Olam Haba. The world to come, after the millennial age, is a new phase of existence, along with the resurrection of the dead, which will occur, leading to an eternal state of existence. In this eternal age, all physical limitations are transcended, and the righteous attain an unending closeness to God. This state is characterized by an intimate relationship with the divine, where physicality is elevated to its highest purified form. Please look out for a future video where I will expound on the concept of this future age of existence, which I call the eighth day of creation. So we see that Jewish eschatology envisions a future filled with profound transformation, where humanity reaches its spiritual potential and creation itself is restored to its intended purpose. The end times, far from being a fearful concept, reflect a hopeful aspiration toward a perfected world where the divine is fully realized, the oneness of Hashem is universally known, and humanity is divinely united together with the presence of God. Thank you for watching. This has been a presentation of Abraham Eminer. The views expressed here are mine alone and are not meant to be an authoritative representation of any one religious tradition.